Well, here now with reaction, Senator John Thune of South Dakota, Senate Minority Whip, and a key member of the Commerce Committee who was at that very hearing today. Senator, thank you for being with us. I want you to take us into the hearing room. What did you hear today that was of most concern to you?
Well, I felt that Ms. Haugen was very compelling. I thought her testimony was really powerful, and if in fact she wasn't in the room when a lot of these decisions are being made, she sure had a lot of knowledge about Facebook practices, and obviously she has shared that with some folks. But I thought today that the thing probably that maybe the biggest takeaway was just simply the fact that inasmuch as Facebook tries to use artificial intelligence in a way that they say eliminate some of the harmful content from their platforms that are moderated, that it's not being effective, that there are demographic groups, and particularly young girls, who are particularly harmfully impacted by the content that's in the data, the way the data is used on a lot of these platforms.
Senator, I want to take you to Facebook's response here because I think this is very interesting. Undoubtedly, you saw this. Facebook says it's been 25 years since the rules for the internet have been updated. And instead of expecting the industry to make societal decisions that belong to legislators, it's time for Congress to act. Senator, Facebook's throwing it into your lap and saying you're to blame for this. Now, there's probably things we can do on the regulatory front, but the fact is, these are Facebook's algorithms.
Right, and they've been, and you know, the thing is, interestingly about that, Brian, is that they've resisted Congress acting on this for a long time. Now, all of a sudden, I think they're interested because they realize they're in a tough spot. But Section 230, which has been in place now for the past 25 years, does need to be reformed, and there needs to be more transparency, more accountability for these big companies like Facebook, who in the past argued that they were simply the platform on which users posted content. Well, now they're not doing that anymore. They are actually modifying or moderating the content on these platforms using these opaque or secret algorithms to influence what people are seeing on those platforms. And that's a very different world. And so Section 230 does need to be modified. I actually have a bill to do that, but I think it is time for Congress to act. I've been saying that for several years now. These big tech companies have so much power, so much influence over this country, over society, over our economy, and it is an incredibly impactful business, one which I think, because of the way that they use artificial intelligence and these opaque algorithms, needs to have some rules of the road, and it's time we put those in place.
Senator, here's the concern. So you get regulation to deal with some of the problems you and I are talking about now, but other people look at this and say, yeah, but you know what else is going to happen? The censorship issue, the stifling of voices. We've seen stifling of conservative voices. How do you regulate Facebook in this instance without inviting more of the algorithm tinkering that actually keeps people from expressing legitimate views on these platforms?
Well, and I think that's, to me, it's all about the use of the algorithms. I think that these platforms, and you know, obviously we have First Amendment rights. We want to protect the right of free speech. It's a constitutional right people have. But if, for example, somebody posts something on one of these platforms and Facebook takes it down, that person now has no recourse because they've got legal protection, a legal shield against liability that was put in place back in 1996 with Section 230. It is time for Section 230 to be reformed and modified so there is some accountability, there's some transparency, so people know what the rules are, what the practices are. They need to disclose those, and they ought to have some way of appealing a decision that's made with respect to their content.
Senator,
now, the left and the right both would love to get rid of Section 230 entirely. I don't think that's the solution, but I think it needs to be reformed.
Senator, really quickly, what do you see the timeline being here? We've had a lot of talk about this. When do you think you might see some action?
Well, I'm hoping soon. I've been pushing not only that bill, but another bill, the filter bubble bill, that gives people the option of having unfiltered or moderated content, so they can look at it if they don't want to have their viewing habits basically on these platforms manipulated. They ought to have another option. I think those are reasonable bills that we ought to be able to get together behind. Maybe other ideas out there, but soon. I mean, I think what she did is she brought urgency to this debate and a realization that we need to take action.
She certainly did. Senator John Thune, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks, Brian.